So maybe I need to change my strategy a little bit against him, like not playing as many hands and yeah, just playing my standard ranges. Don't open much looser because he's at the table. So he min raises the button again, which is kind of indicative that he knows what he's doing. I mean, if he doesn't limp the button, which a lot of fish do. Again, he just picks up the blinds. That's funny. I would not fold to a min raise there if I was strike with any sort of playable hand, but strike just does. Yeah, I don't know what my last point was. Just moving on. Again, no turn makes it 2.5 here, and Jack 9 just a call, just like the Ace 5 is, or was. But strike 3 bets ahead of me and just muck it. There's almost no room for 4-bet bluffing now at his stack size, so yeah, pretty standard. 8 deuce fold, obviously 8-3, gonna be folding that. I think the action is actually well paced in this video. I don't think it's very boring or overwhelmingly fast. I think I like this format. I guess I've also been kind of lucky to get a lot of hands here when I made this recording. Alright, cutoff opens, button calls. Okay, so let's see how PokerFeds plays this hand. I think it's most important to watch how the fish or the weak players play their hands, because they're the ones you're going to make your profits against, and if you know how they play, how you can exploit them, this is going to be very useful for you. I mean, if you make a note on the tag that he, I don't know, squeezed king queen and then shoved over your 4-bet, that's a good note to have, but it's not going to be a note that you can make a lot of money off. But if you have a note on a fishy player that tells you I don't know, just whatever, check min raises the flop with bottom pair, or then you're gonna know when he check min raises the flop that his range is very merged. You could have like bottom pair, middle pair, top pair, and you can use that information and make some better plays against him. So I think taking notes on weak players' tendencies is much more important than taking notes on strong players' tendencies, because the strong players are just gonna play more predictably. He just gets 1 bet in there. Whoa. I don't know, that's weird. I'd have bet the river on life tilt spot there. So this time PokerFeds limps and not gonna raise pre-flop. But this is important. Flop 10-4-4, and this is an opportunity you absolutely should not miss out on. You can just bet any 2 cards like 5 deuces and bet them here, take down the pot. If he does raise, obviously fold. If he does call, we can bet again if we turn a 3, obviously. If we turn an ace, we certainly bet gut shot and scare card. If we turn a 5, we might be able to check it down, win against his ace highs. Same if we turn a deuce. So there is a good number of turn cards that are okay for our hand. And also, even if like a king comes on the turn, I might bet this again, because I don't think his range is necessarily a 10 or better. I think his range contains hands like pocket sixes, ace high, queen jack that just calls the flop because he has 2 face cards. I don't know. But the turn can go either way on the blank, but I think the flop is a must bet and just take it down there. I mean, we are risking $6 to win the 10 in there. It doesn't have to work that often, like 35% of the time. I think it clearly works that often. Jack 3, fold. Jack 9, premium hand. And again, the big blind fishy guy just folds, which is definitely something we should be noting. Also strike limps it under the gun. A little bet sizing thing here with the ace queen. You can raise that limp to a variety of sizes: 3x, 3.5x, 4x, 4.5x, 5x, whatever kind of. If I'm playing against a very weak player like a super fish, I'm gonna be raising extremely big with my monsters like ace queen, aces, kings, jack 10 suited, like those hands that want to play big pots post flop. Not gonna be raising the big fish smaller with hands like 10-8 suited that just make small pairs. Strike is not a huge fish. He's just like yeah, average, I don't know, reg fish kind of player. I think making it 14 here is a good size. He usually calls that, so we can play a good pot in position. I don't want to make it 18, force him out of the pot with this hand. I don't want to make it 12 and just get little value. So I think 14 is alright here. So small blind calls, and he probably calls as well. Flops 10-8-6, rainbow, no backdoor flush for us because we're offsuit and it's rainbow. C-bet, yes, no. What do you think? I think this is a check, but c-betting is not terrible. The problem is 6-8 10 hits their playing range a lot. I mean, the small blind caller is gonna have a lot of middling cards: 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack. Any of these cards is not gonna fold here, and the limp caller is gonna have small pocket pairs that fold. He's also gonna have middling suited connectors that don't fold. I mean, I think in total we don't get a lot of folds here. Our equity, however, is not that terrible. If one of the guys calls a c-bet, we can play a bunch of turns profitably. So I don't mind a c-bet, but I think checking is best. Turn as blank as it gets. Small blind leads for less than half pot. Strike min raises. This is hilarious. And the small blind folds. So this is very interesting to me, and I don't know if we can see it on the screen, but I take a note. Because this is something I would never ever expect from a weaker player. So I give him the green flag for weaker player, and I note that he made a small bet. What else? So they made a small bet and then folded to a min raise. I guess should you know what type of board that was? I mean, if it was like flush board or just ragged board. Yeah, so he bet small, folded to min raise on a drawy board, which means he did bet small without a draw and without a pair, because those don't fold. So he just stabbed at it basically, and was also willing to surrender to min raise. So that's definitely interesting. And yeah, I think these types of notes are much more useful than taking notes on regulars, like 3-bet 7-5 suited. Like, okay. I think Noto bets the turn here always. I guess if he has a hand like pocket 8s or 9s, he just checks back again, but any club, any ace high, any queen high, he should be betting. Well, whatever. Okay, there's just 2 minutes left of coverage. We'll see if anything interesting comes up. I think there was one more hand that was worth looking at. Oh, not this one. Again, no toad, timing down, so I think we can pick up timing tells from him if he keeps timing down. No, he timeout folded. If you want to start playing at Ongame, definitely take note of this. When someone times down and their timer runs out, they're instantly check folding their hand and sitting out from the table. So this is important that you don't time out, and if you see someone else timing out, then, well, this is not very ethnical thing to do, but if you just bet very quickly after someone timeout checks, you win the pot because they're folding. So you need to know this before starting to play it on game. Okay, so poker felt a raised preflop, c-bet the flop. Did I get this right? So he doesn't seem to be a very bad player at all. Just, I mean, he's certainly not a good player, but he's not a huge fish like I assumed at first. So it's interesting. Same hand like we had before, queen deuce off. This time I raise again. Not so much because I think he is because I think the big blind is a huge fish and I can get his stack if I flop two pair. But now I actually raise it because of all the fold equity. PokerFeld has been folding pre-flop, and on Lifetile has only 3-bet me 1, so he's just playing his standard style. So I think it's definitely loose, but probably profitable because they just fold plenty pre-flop. So flop second pair, and since he's not been very loose, I think I check this back and go for one street of value. Either if he checks the turn, I bet the turn, or yeah, just planning to get one bet in here. So he bets a turn. I mean, I have to call. Bink a deuce. Nope. So he bets the river for 28, and this is gonna be the last decision of the video, and I think it's very close here. He's definitely, from what we have seen, he hasn't been bluffing so much. He has been playing very passively, not betting at all, so I think he really has two pair or a king or a bet queen a lot of the time. And then the question is, what hands could he be bluffing with that we beat? Pocket threes don't bet the river or the turn even. Ace high, I don't think bets the turn unless it's a flush draw, and he, since he's passive, might not bet a flush draw on the turn. So I don't think we're beating a lot of hands except for Jack 10, Jack 9. So actually I think this is a fold, and I did fold it. Sick. I usually call on these spots. Still kind of astonished that I made a fold there. I mean, I have a pair. Pairs are good in hold'em. Alright, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it, and whoa. Yeah, goodbye.